Good morning, guys, and welcome to Up and Smart. We are racing today at Greyville Poly, the home of the KZN, the most honest province in the country. Yesterday we only had two places from the two greenies. We didn't have two wins, unfortunately, but much not as good as the previous day with 5 out of 6 wins from the greenies. And we are in the beautiful KZN yet again today, the home of the Hollywood Hamburger. And we start off in the first, and my first four has very little separating them really, purely because if I look at this bat figure here, I have four horses that's within one length of each other, and that is Leopard Lady, Diamond Girl, Red Rosa, and Loving the Victory. Now, of those, the one with the best form at the moment, which you can check in the back here on the detail sheet by seeing which trainers are in really good form. You can see Golf Puller has had one win, one run since his last win, and so has Nathan Cotson has 0 since his last win. And we can also sort here on the side by the ranking average, and then you see Dennis Drives at 4 and MJ Odendahl's at 25. So I'm going to probably just go with Nathan Cotson and Golf Puller here. That's in form. On top of that, we've got Kamalo that has the Flame, that's also in form by himself, and Cotson that's in form here with more than 50% places for the season. So I'm going to stick with those four as my first choices. I'm probably going to say Loving the Victory by Red Rosa, by Diamond Girl, and Leopard Lady in that sort of order, but it's no order really necessary because it's the bipod start. And it looks like quite a tricky affair today. In the second, I think instead of just moving through all of this, maybe let's just concentrate on the JTR detail, which is essentially where we find a lot of the information that is really helpful. You can look into the detail, but you can sort on any of these columns, like on opening betting or overall ranking or greeny points or ranking average. And ranking average in this one, we start off with Wendy Whitehead, and if we hover over any of the things, we'll see the first rated is Lord Carrow at 8.5, and the second one is Agent Murphy at 14 to 1. The third one is Tree of Knowledge at 8 to 1, and then the fourth one Crusade Star at 2.5, and the fifth one Pacific Winter at 3.03. And I think between those 5, 7, 1, 5, 8, and 9, I'm hoping that that'll take us through the bipod, because it does seem to quite a tricky affair. I normally look at the ranking average, which in this case is 3.41 average out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 runners. So out of these 11 runners and these 25 categories, the Wendy Whitehead runner Lord Carrow has a 3.41 ranking average out of these 11 runners. So obviously the bigger the field, the more difficult it is to get a 1 ranking average. If you've got a 1 ranking average, it simply would mean that you've got ones in all of these, which is not the case, hasn't ever been the case. So the first 5, 7, 1, 5, 8, and 9 I'll be going with. In the next race, I normally take the route of looking within the first one and up to 2 from the first one. So 3.41 plus 2 is 5.41. So I'm going to take a chance here and just say Boardmaster and Chocolate, which is numbers 3 and 10 for me in my bipod here. Moving on to the next race, here you see 3.59, 3.74, 4.42, 4.9, 5.23, 5.54, all the way to the 6th runner is within 2, which is rough. So for that reason, in the 4th, which is the third leader of the bipod, I've gone 4, 1, 2, 7, 8, 5, and 9, which is Montana Sky, Higher Purpose, So Smooth, Royce FICO, Forest Jump, Brandenburg. So you can see here that obviously Andre Nell is in really good form, with Ryan Munger taking the ride, but the ranking average of 3.59 goes to Montana Sky, the top rated, with Richard Fourie, and he's in reasonably good form as he's had only 3 runs since last winner. But you also see that Daryl Moore is on a little bit of a good streak. Forest Jump 25 to 1, he won his last race, and Nathan Cotson, Brandenburg, also won his last race. So that's the kind of things that you have to include. Moving to the fifth race, and here the same applies. 2.9, if you go all the way down to the first 5, that's when you get away by more than 4. So I have gone here with To the Max as my first choice, Lady of Letitia's my second choice, Reckless Love, Good Girl, and then the Hat-Trick Moment as my choices in this race, 10, 4, 6, 8, and 5. In the sixth race, the second last of the bipod, here we see a little bit of a gap here, 3.3 to 4.17 on Living Waters, but it's not really a big gap, it's a little gap because it's not even one. So Living Waters is my first choice in this affair, followed by Flying Peter, 8-1, and then Avenir and Siasura, 8-1, 3, and 11. And then in the last leg, of the bipod, here again 3.7, 3.8, 4.5, 5.2, 5.2, so that first 5 has to go in, and those are Cool Runnings, Euphoric, Master of Destiny, Sovereign Soldier, and Gazala Gallop, 8, 10, 2, 6, and 7. And the 8th race we've got a greenie, and you can see the greenie is pretty decent. Eager Dutch Chess at 9-1 at 2.83. The closest to him is Badenhorst and Kennedy, but Warren Kennedy is not taking the ride on Cersei at 25-1. Warren Kennedy, in fact, is taking the ride on Capriccio at 7-1 for the only trainer, Paul Gatsby, but Paul Gatsby is not in the best of form. He's taken 43 runs since his last win. Kumran Naidu's only had 1 since his last win, and he has Kumalo riding on Rainbow Unicorn, so that's the kind of thing that you need to look after. But I think potentially the best bet on the card today is 3-1 or 2.85 on the places, and 8.33 on the wins on Eager Dutch Chess. So I have gone only 1, 8, and 5 here for the second last leg, which would be Eager Dutch Chess, Cersei, and Hot Money. For another informed stable, Wendy Whitehead's had 3 since his last win. Tini Prince is also in a bit of form. Richard Fourie takes the ride, so maybe you can add Foxy Lady as well, because Foxy Lady is also not too far out, but going with that 2 rule to 4.83, maybe the first 2 is enough. I just added the third because that is also the favorite, as you can see here by seeing that number 1, which means the favorite, which means Hot Money is the favorite, Wendy Whitehead. So I added the favorite with my first and second rated. And then in the lucky last, I have Dennis Dreyer and Shane Humby looking the best, 3.04 on Duchess of Sussex, and Susie Wu on Shane Humby and Donovan Dillon on Susie Wu, 3.04, 3.83, and then the rest is outside of the 2. So the next best is Vizu's Magic, which is the favorite. So I've done the same, 13, 4, and 1 in the last leg. So got a bit shorter on the last 2 on my smaller pick, 6, 1, 8, 5 by 13, 4, 1 in the last 2 races. If you want bigger, then I have added those bigger firms ones in brackets. That's it from me, guys. Not a whole lot to report on the racing today. It does look tricky. So I would probably say very important is check out the JT combo sheet and see where your trainers and jockeys are going well, and switch on your ODR so that you can have the on-day rules applied so that you can see where the best options is for the day. For me, I have gone with Eager Dutch Chess as each way as my best option, and the other one I've liked was Living Waters at 6-1 as a nice addition to today, but it does look quite tricky out there. For example, if you look at some things, say for instance this one here that's quite sticking out, Diamond Girl, if that does okay, then Boardmaster looks like a decent one to follow it up, because you can see a bit of a pattern here. Here's a Richard Fourie at the bottom as a new jockey on Duchess of Sussex, and you can see the flame is on Richard Fourie but not on Sean Veal, so maybe Richard Fourie is the one that you're looking for Dennis Dreyer. That's the kind of things. Richard Fourie ranked 8th in the country, Veal ranked 23rd in the country, and the middle one, Hewitson, ranked 1st in the country for My Lord and Master. So that's the kind of things that you really need to look at to find the patterns, because KZN racing has absolutely nothing to do with form at the moment. It is only about who you know, and not looking at form. It's not the best horse that wins the race in KZN, unfortunately. Have a great day.